There are moments in life that feel too strange to be called coincidence. Perhaps that is exactly why you are here today. Out of all the videos you could have watched, something guided you to this one. Maybe you don't understand why yet. Maybe you were simply scrolling. Maybe you almost ignored this message. But what if your heart already knew something your mind couldn't explain? What if, at this very moment, someone is whispering your name in a prayer? Not because they want something from you. Not because they are trying to control your future. But because they are terrified of losing the connection they feel with you. Your soulmate has been carrying emotions that have become too heavy to hide. Every single day they wonder if this invisible bond is real. Every single night they ask heaven for one simple answer. Please let them feel what I feel. Take a deep breath for a second. Close your eyes if you need to. Ask yourself one honest question. Have you been feeling different lately? Have you noticed random memories appearing from nowhere? Have you suddenly felt emotional without understanding why? Have you caught yourself thinking about love when nobody even mentioned it? These moments are not always random. Sometimes our souls communicate long before our words ever can. Sometimes prayers travel farther than voices. And today, one of those prayers may have reached you. Your soulmate isn't praying for wealth. They aren't praying for fame. They aren't praying for an easy life. They're praying for one person. You, because somewhere deep inside, they believe your lives were meant to cross. The strange thing is, you may already know them. Or perhaps you've never met. Destiny doesn't always follow the rules people expect. Some meetings happen after years of silence. Some begin with a single unexpected conversation. Some begin because one person refused to stop praying. That is why this message matters. Not because it predicts the future, but because it reminds you that hope has incredible power. Imagine someone sitting quietly tonight. The world around them is asleep. Their phone is beside them. The lights are off. No one knows what they're thinking. Then they close their eyes. Your face enters their mind. Maybe they don't even understand why. Yet they whisper, God, if they are meant for me, please protect them tonight. Please heal every wound they carry. Please remove every fear standing between us. And if the time isn't right, help me wait with patience. Think about that for a moment. Someone praying for your happiness, even before asking for their own. That kind of love is rare. That kind of connection changes people forever. The truth is, many soulmates spend years apart before they finally meet. Not because love failed, but because timing was still preparing them. Growth comes before union. Healing comes before forever. If two people meet before they are emotionally ready, even true love can fall apart. Maybe that is why life delayed certain moments. Not to punish you, but to protect something greater. And while you were trying to understand why doors kept closing, someone else was praying that the right one would finally open. Have you ever noticed how life sometimes becomes strangely quiet before everything changes? Almost like the universe is taking one final deep breath. That silence often confuses people. They think nothing is happening. But invisible things are moving. Hearts are changing. Fear is disappearing. Courage is growing. Someone is slowly becoming ready to tell the truth they have hidden for far too long. Could that person be your soulmate? Only time can answer that. But one thing is certain. Real love doesn't disappear simply because distance exists. Real love becomes stronger through faith. That is exactly why prayers matter. Because prayer isn't about forcing someone to love you. Prayer is about trusting that what is truly meant for you will arrive at exactly the right moment. Your soulmate understands that now. Maybe they didn't before. Maybe they chased answers. Maybe they tried to control every situation. Maybe they became exhausted. Now, they've stopped trying to force destiny. Instead, they're simply praying. And somehow, that quiet prayer has reached this very moment. Perhaps that's why your heart feels different today. Because sometimes, before two souls meet, hope arrives first. There is something most people never realize. Not every prayer is spoken out loud. Some prayers are hidden inside tears. Some are whispered during sleepless nights. Some are carried silently by a heart that has almost given up. Your soulmate has experienced those nights. The nights when they looked at the ceiling, unable to sleep. They replayed conversations that never happened. They imagined moments they wished they could share with you. Then they asked themselves one painful question. Will our paths ever cross? No answer came. Only silence. But sometimes, silence is where faith begins. While everyone around them believed they had moved on, deep inside, they never stopped believing there was someone they were still meant to find. They couldn't explain it. It wasn't obsession. It wasn't fantasy. It was a quiet certainty that someone, somewhere, was walking toward the same destiny. Perhaps that someone is you. Have you ever felt like your life was preparing you for something bigger? Maybe you've experienced heartbreak. Maybe you've trusted the wrong people. Maybe you've spent nights wondering why love always seemed to slip away. What if those painful chapters weren't the end of your story? What if they were preparing your heart for the love you truly deserve? Your soulmate has asked heaven the same question. Why did we have to wait so long? And little by little, they began to understand. Some people enter our lives to teach us. Others enter to test us. But a soulmate arrives when your soul is finally ready to receive what it has been praying for. That kind of love cannot be rushed. It grows in places where patience has already taken root. Imagine your soulmate standing outside one evening, watching the sunset. The sky slowly turns golden. Everything becomes quiet. For a brief moment, they smile. Not because they have all the answers, but because hope has returned. Hope is powerful. It changes the way people think. It changes the way they speak. It changes the decisions they make. Your soulmate has started making different choices. They are walking away from fear. They are letting go of old pain. They are becoming the person they once prayed to become. Because they believe. If destiny finally brings you together, they want to meet you as their best self. Not as someone trapped by yesterday, but as someone ready for tomorrow. Maybe, without even realizing it, you've been changing too. Perhaps you've become stronger than you were a year ago. Perhaps you've learned to protect your peace. Perhaps you've stopped chasing people who never chose you. Those changes matter. Because every lesson has been shaping the person your soulmate is waiting to meet. Nothing has been wasted. Not the tears. Not the loneliness. Not the waiting. Every experience has been building a stronger heart. And somewhere tonight, your soulmate thanks heaven for that. They don't ask for perfection anymore. They simply ask for the chance to love honestly. To build something real. To protect the person heaven places in their life. Could that person be you? No one can answer that with certainty. But one thing remains true. Real love begins long before two hands finally touch. It begins with hope. With healing. With quiet prayers offered when nobody else is watching. And perhaps one of those prayers has led you here today. So before you leave this message, take one moment. Close your eyes. And ask yourself, what if the waiting wasn't punishment, but preparation? Because sometimes, the greatest blessings arrive only after we've become strong enough to receive them. And maybe, just maybe, your soulmate is asking heaven for you. At this very moment, have you ever wondered why certain people suddenly appear in your thoughts? Without warning. Without reason. Almost as if someone invisible gently placed their name inside your heart. Most people dismiss these moments. They call them coincidence. They blame stress. They move on with their day. But every now and then, life speaks in whispers instead of words. And only those who slow down long enough can hear them. Your soulmate has started noticing these whispers. Not in loud miracles. Not in dramatic signs. But in quiet moments that no one else would understand. A song begins to play. And somehow, the lyrics feel personal. A stranger smiles. And it brings unexpected peace. A dream lingers long after morning arrives. None of these moments seem extraordinary by themselves. Yet together, they begin to tell a story. The story of hope returning. For a long time, Your soulmate believed they had missed their chance. They thought destiny had forgotten them. They watched others fall in love, build families, create memories, while they quietly wondered if their own chapter would ever begin. Those thoughts became heavier every year. Until one evening, something changed. It wasn't a voice. It wasn't a miracle. It was simply a feeling. A deep, unshakable feeling that said, "Don't stop believing." Since that day, their prayers became different. Instead of asking, "When will I meet them?" they started praying, "Prepare both of us for the right moment." That small change transformed everything. Because faith isn't always about receiving answers. Sometimes, faith is choosing peace before the answers arrive. Maybe you've been learning that lesson too. Maybe you've spent months asking questions that nobody could answer. Why did that relationship end? Why did someone walk away? Why did life become so confusing? The truth is, not every ending is a punishment. Sometimes, life removes what no longer belongs, so it can make room for what does. Your soulmate has finally accepted that. And because of that, their heart has become lighter. Fear no longer controls every decision. Hope has started replacing doubt. That is why their prayers feel different now. They're no longer praying from desperation. They're praying from trust. There is a powerful difference. Desperation says, "Please don't let me be alone." Trust says, "Bring the right person when the time is right." Can you feel the difference? One is driven by fear. The other is guided by faith. Your soulmate has chosen faith. And perhaps, without realizing it, you have been learning to choose it too. Think about your own journey. Look back over the last few years. You survived things you once believed would destroy you. You carried pain that nobody else could see. You smiled while your heart quietly healed. That strength did not appear by accident. It was preparing you for a future version of yourself. A version capable of giving and receiving real love. Perhaps your soulmate has been walking the same road. Two separate journeys, moving toward one destination. Neither of you knows the exact day. Neither of you knows the exact place. But both of you are becoming the people you were always meant to be. And maybe that is the greatest miracle of all. Not that destiny brings two souls together, but that it transforms them before they meet. Tonight, before your soulmate falls asleep, they will whisper one more prayer. Not for riches, not for success, not for an easier life, but for your peace, for your healing, for your protection. Because deep inside, they believe that if heaven is preparing your paths to cross, then your heart is worth praying for. even before they have the chance to hold your hand. And perhaps that silent prayer has found its way to you today. There comes a moment, a quiet moment, when everything begins to shift. Not because the world suddenly changes, but because your heart finally does. Your soulmate has reached that moment. For a long time, they carried questions they couldn't answer. Will I ever find the person meant for me? Will they recognize me? Will I recognize them? These questions stayed with them through countless nights. But recently, something inside them became peaceful. Not because every prayer had already been answered, but because they finally trusted the one who hears every prayer. Perhaps that's what faith truly looks like. Not having every answer, but still choosing hope. Have you noticed how life often changes without warning? One ordinary day, everything feels the same. Then suddenly, a single conversation changes your future. A random message appears. A missed opportunity becomes a blessing. A delay becomes protection. The very thing you once questioned later becomes the reason you're grateful. Your soulmate has started seeing life this way. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" they now ask, "What is this preparing me for?" That simple change has opened their heart. And maybe it is opening yours as well. There is something beautiful about two people healing separately. Because when they finally meet, they don't arrive carrying empty hands. They arrive carrying wisdom, compassion, patience, understanding. These are the gifts pain often leaves behind. Without realizing it, every disappointment you've survived has been teaching you how to love more deeply. Every goodbye has been preparing you for the hello that truly matters. Your soulmate believes that now. They no longer fear waiting. Because they understand. The right love never arrives too late. It arrives exactly when both hearts are ready. Imagine your soulmate standing beside a window tonight. Rain gently falls outside. The room is quiet. They close their eyes. And they whisper, "God." If they're feeling lonely tonight, remind them they are never alone. If they're carrying pain, bring them peace. If they're losing hope, let this be the season where hope returns. And when the time is finally right, guide our paths together. Not a moment too early. Not a moment too late. Can you imagine someone praying those words for you? Even if they don't know your name yet. Even if they've never seen your face. Love often begins with faith long before it begins with a meeting. That is why your story is still unfolding. You may feel like nothing is changing. But some of life's greatest miracles happen quietly. Seeds grow underground long before anyone sees the flowers. Morning begins before the first ray of sunlight reaches your window. And sometimes, two hearts begin moving toward each other, long before either one realizes it. Maybe that's where you are today. Not at the end of the journey. Not even at the beginning. But in the middle. Where preparation is quietly becoming purpose. Where waiting is becoming wisdom. Where hope is becoming courage. Your soulmate has not stopped praying. And perhaps, without realizing it, you've been praying too. Maybe not with words. Maybe through every tear. Every silent wish. Every moment you refuse to give up. Sometimes, those are the prayers heaven hears most clearly. So if your heart needed this reminder today, hold on to it. Because every sunrise carries new possibilities. Every tomorrow carries opportunities that yesterday never had. And perhaps, the prayer being spoken for you tonight will become the blessing you never expected tomorrow. The story isn't over. In many ways, it's only just beginning, before this message comes to an end. There is one final truth your heart may need to hear. Life has a way of making people believe that waiting means being forgotten. But that isn't always true. Sometimes, waiting means something beautiful is still being prepared. Think about everything you've survived. The nights when you questioned your worth. The moments when you believed love wasn't meant for you. The times you smiled for everyone else, while silently carrying your own pain. You made it through every one of those seasons. Not because you were lucky, but because you were stronger than you realized. Your soulmate has walked through similar seasons. They have also known heartbreak. They have also experienced disappointment. They have also wondered if anyone would ever truly understand them. Yet every difficult chapter has shaped them into someone capable of loving with honesty, patience, and kindness. Perhaps that is why your paths have not crossed until now. Not because destiny forgot you, but because destiny refused to introduce two unfinished hearts before they were ready. Imagine this. Tonight, before your soulmate closes their eyes, they whisper one final prayer. Heavenly Father, wherever they are, please remind them they are deeply loved. Protect their heart from fear. Give them peace when they feel uncertain. Help them believe that every delay has a purpose. And if tomorrow brings us one step closer, thank you for never giving up on either of us. Those words may never be spoken where you can hear them. But love is not measured only by words. Sometimes the deepest expressions of love are invisible. They appear in hope, in patience, in quiet faith. As this message comes to a close, take one slow breath. Think about how far you've already come. You are not the same person you were a year ago. You have grown. You have healed. You have become wiser. That growth matters. Because every step has been preparing you for the relationships that truly belong in your life. No one can promise exactly when your soulmate will appear. No one can promise how your story will unfold. But one thing is always within your control: the person you choose to become while you wait. Choose kindness. Choose courage. Choose peace. Choose hope. Because those qualities never go to waste. And if today has reminded you of anything, let it be this: you are not forgotten. You are not invisible. Your life still holds chapters that have not yet been written. The greatest moments of your story may still be ahead. So don't let disappointment convince you that hope has ended. Sometimes the sunrise arrives only after the darkest night. Sometimes the answer comes only after the longest silence. And sometimes the prayer someone whispers for you today becomes tomorrow's unexpected blessing. If this message brought peace to your heart, carry that peace into the rest of your day. Let it remind you that faith is stronger than fear. Hope is stronger than doubt. And love is strongest when it is rooted in patience. Thank you for spending these moments here. May your heart be filled with peace. May your path be guided with wisdom. And may you never stop believing that beautiful things are still possible. Until next time, take care of your heart. Because someone, somewhere, may already be praying for it. If this message touched your heart, write Amen or I receive this message in the comments. Subscribe to this channel for more messages of hope and encouragement, and share this video with someone who may need it today. May peace be with you always.